Welcome to the club. Civics Federalism. Federalism is a system of government in which power is divided between a central authority and various constituent units of the country. A federation has two levels of government. Both these levels of governments enjoy their power independent of the other. One is the government for the entire country that is usually responsible for a few subjects of common national interest. Governments at the level of provinces or states that look after much of the day-to-day administering of their state. Some of the key features of federalism system are: there are two or more levels or tiers of government. Different tiers of government govern the same citizens, but each tier has its own jurisdiction in specific matters of legislation, taxation and administration. The existence and authority of each tier of government is constitutionally guaranteed. The fundamental provisions of the Constitution cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of government. Such changes require the consent of both the levels of government. Courts have the power to interpret the Constitution and the powers of different levels of government. Sources of revenue for each level of government are clearly specified to ensure its financial autonomy. The federal system has dual objectives: I. To safeguard and promote the unity of the country, E. Accommodate regional diversity. Two aspects are crucial for the institutions and practice of federalism: mutual trust between the government of different levels and agreement to live together. There are two kinds of routes through which federations have been formed. The first route involves independent states coming together on their own to form a bigger unit. This kind of coming together federations is formed in the USA, Switzerland and Australia. The second route is that a large country decides to divide its power between the constituent states and the national government. This kind of holding together federations is followed in India, Spain and Belgium countries. 1. Union list. It includes subjects of national importance such as the defense of the country, foreign affairs, banking, communications and currency. The union government alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in this list. 2. State list. It contains subjects of state and local importance such as police, trade, commerce, agriculture and irrigation. The state governments alone can make laws relating to the subjects mentioned in this list. Concurrent list. It includes subjects of common interest to both the union government as well as the state governments. The list includes education, forest, trade unions, marriage, adoption and succession. Both the union as well as the state governments can make laws on the subjects mentioned in this list. If their laws conflict with each other, the law made by the union government will be considered. The creation of linguistic states was the first and a major test for democratic politics in India. From 1947 to 2017, many old states have vanished and many new states have been created. Areas, boundaries and names of the states have been changed. Some states have been formed of the people who speak the same language. These states are known as linguistic states. A second test for Indian Federation is the language policy. Hindi was identified as the official language. Besides Hindi, there are 21 other languages recognized as scheduled languages by the Constitution. States too have their own official languages and government work takes place in the official language of the concerned state. Restructuring the center-state relations is one more way in which federalism has been strengthened in practice. If no single party gets a clear majority in the Lok Sabha, the major national parties can alliance with many parties including several regional parties to form a government at the center. This led to a new culture of power sharing and respect for the autonomy of state governments. When power is taken away from central and state governments and given to the local government, it is called decentralization. The basic idea behind decentralization is that there are a large number of problems and issues which are best settled at the local level. Local people can also directly participate in the decision making. A major step towards decentralization was taken in 1992. The Constitution was amended to make the third tier of democracy more powerful and effective. Here are the key features of three-tier democracy. It is constitutionally mandatory to hold regular elections to local government bodies. Seats are reserved in the elected bodies and the executive heads of these institutions for the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and other backward classes. At least one-third of all positions are reserved for women. State Election Commission has been created in each state to conduct panchayat and municipal elections. The state governments are required to share some powers and revenue with local government bodies. The nature of sharing varies from state to state. The panchayat works under the overall supervision of the Gram Sabha. All the voters in the village are its members. It has to meet at least twice or thrice in a year to approve the annual budget of the Gram Panchayat and to review the performance of the Gram Panchayat. When Gram Panchayat are grouped together, they form a Panchayat Samiti or block or mandal.